Rosco McClelland, and this is Slug Nudger. I hope you enjoy it.
Well, let's turn the dial up then, eh? I've been thinking about trans people. And, here we go. I've been thinking about trans people, and you know what? I like them. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's it. That's all I should say about it. Why? Because I'm a 35-year-old straight white man, right? And I think the last thing that comedy needs is for another person like me to be talking about an issue that doesn't actually affect them, right? Thank you. So I'm going to talk about an issue that does affect me. I've got slugs that live in my bin. Day to day, it's affecting my life, man. You know? Here's what I mean. Like, have you got a bin, man? You good too? La-di-da. Well, here's what happened. Have you got slugs in that bin? Well, whoop-de-doo, huh? Oh, I'd love to live your slugless bin life, so I would, man. What was your name? Callum, big Cal dog, man, yeah. Well, here's what happens to me, Callum. I'll go to my bin, right, and I'm whipping the lid up. Bang! More often than not, there's a slug hiding, like, under the lids, right, but on top of the rims. And when I move the lid out of the way, the slug just slugs out, you know? Just expands, you know? And then I'm stuck holding the lid, like, I can't put the lid back down because there's a slug in the way, right? And I don't want to hurt the wee slug, you know? So I'm out there nudging slugs. And I don't want to be known as a Slug Nudger, right? I don't know what it means, but it can't be good, you know? Like, it sounds like a slur, doesn't it? Like, Marjorie, I think the boy across the road's a Slug Nudger. Oh, shit, man. Get the cats inside. I don't know what it means, man. I don't want to be one. But once you nudge a slug into the bin, Callum, it keeps going, man. Because now I've got slugs in the bin, but there's slugs on the ground as well, right? And like, it means I can't put the bin out, because what if they're a wee family, you know? Like, you know, I'm not a Tory, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sending any slug Rwanda. I'm not doing it, man. Did you know slugs are hermaphrodites, Cal dog? Did you know that? You didn't? You've not been Googling them, have you? I have, man. Loads. But once I found out these slugs were from a marginalised group in society, that changed the whole way I was thinking about it, right? Because I consider myself to be nothing if not an ally to these marginalised groups, you know? Like, of course I am, you know, I've got friends in these groups, you know, and I love them, and I've taken things for their life, you know, and I've brought it into my life to make my life better. You know, I'm 35 years old this year. I started eating ass. Anyone else in here eating ass? I thought I'd have more. Just me? Okay. I really don't know my audience. Sorry. No, that's my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 35. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. You know, like, I'll pop a hemorrhoid with my tongue. I'll get right in there. You know. It's better if you've been sitting down all day. It keeps the juices in. It's like a slow cooker. You know. It's lovely, man. I tell you who I don't like, man. Don't like those TERFs. Not a fan of them. Not a fan of them, man. You know, you heard of them, these trans exclusionary radical feminists. I don't like them. I think they're wrong. I think they're wrong about a lot of things. Like, even their name's wrong, you know? Like, trans exclusionary radical. They're the least radical group of people I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen them doing a kickflip. I've never seen that. I've never seen him with a big sign that says women's spaces for women, but also cowabunga dudes. I've never seen that. Not one of them is even remotely bodacious, man, you know. Should get sent to the trading standards. Now, radical Islam, now there's some radical dudes, man. They live up to the name radical. When they say they're going to hang 10, they mean it. Yeah, I don't know if that'll make it in either. It's so crazy that this is just my job now, you know, like it feels weird calling it a job. It doesn't really feel like a job a lot of times, you know, like, I mean, like I used to have a job, I used to have a real job, you know, like I used to be a plumber, you know, and then one day I just thought, you know what, I'm sick of making money. Let's get into the arts. And here I am, I don't think I could go back and do like a regular job now, man. I couldn't make it through a job interview, you know, like, because they ask you such stupid questions. They're like, oh, and what would you say is your biggest weakness? And I'm like, what? Why would I tell you that? I'm trying to get this job, you know what I mean? Why would I tell you that? That's insane, man. You know. Then you have to lie and be like, oh, actually, well, sometimes I'm actually a bit too much of a perfectionist. And they're like, oh, that sounds like a good weakness. That's good, you know. Bitch, man, do you know what? You want to hear my real weaknesses, do you? You want to hear my actual weaknesses? All right. I'm not 100% sure I've ever managed to fully dry myself with a towel. There you go. 10 minutes later, I put my jeans on, back of my knees, soaking wet. I'm sure I got that back. I've found out other weaknesses throughout my life as well, you know. It turns out I found out that I'm not smart, you know. I always thought I was, and then it'll catch up on you. And for 30 years of my life, I thought the word several meant 7 specific things. Like, what did that, like, one? Oh, like, single, that means one, you know. Couple, that's 2. Several, we're jumping straight to 7. All right, okay. Seems weird to me, but I've got no questions about that. All that means is that it's taken way longer for me to prepare a microwave meal than it should have done. Because, you know, it's pierced several times, and I'll be going, like, 4 round the corners. And then I've still got 3 to go, you know, that's... And then once you start getting in the middle, it loses its tensile strength, you know, and then it's just fucking, you're just... Oh, and then you try and peel it off, and it turns into wee triangle bits and all that. It's been a nightmare being alive, if I'm being honest. Oh, God, man. I'm a married man. Sorry. Everyone. It's nice, man. Who's married in here? Give me a little... That's nice, man. It's nice, man. It's nice being married. I think a wedding, they say a wedding day is like one of the biggest days of your life, you know what I mean? We had a nice wedding day, not without its issues, you know what I mean? One of the main issues was you like to have like nice memories of the day, you know? And we'd hired this big fancy photographer to come and do the day, right? And then it was getting closer to £800, which I thought was a bit much, but all right, okay. He's got to take photographs and all that, he knows what he's doing. And then my brother-in-law, who is prick. What he did, he's lovely, but what he did was him and his now wife came to me and my wife and he said, for our wedding present to you, we'd like to actually hire our friend who's a photographer to come and take your photographs. And I thought, well, that's great, you know, that's nice. That'll be like cheaper, you know, and it'll keep it like nice and personal and in the family. All right, okay. We paid the other guy's deposit and we got this other like random lady in to take the photographs. But on the day of the wedding, I found out a little secret, right? I found out that she had never actually photographed a wedding before. Yeah, because she was a horse photographer. A horse photographer. I didn't even know they did them, you know, like, I don't know, like, all the wedding photos are terrible and unusual because me and my wife are not horses, right? You can see I'm not a horse, and my wife is obviously not a horse because it's frowned upon. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I should have known. There was a point when my wife was coming down the aisle, she had to jump a small hedge to get to the end. There's a guy up the back with a shotgun in case she didn't make it, you know? We had a nice honeymoon though. We went on a nice honeymoon. We went a bit big. We went to Mauritius. it was actually kind of pish. It wasn't that great. I think Mauritius sounds good because it sounds like delicious. Like if it was called Musgustin, you'd be like, ugh. I'm not going there. That sounds disgusting, man. We paid big money for the location and we scrimped on another few things like hotel and what happened, we were like in this shuttle bus, right? It was 3 stars Mauritius, it wasn't even. We were in this shuttle bus for the airport, right? And we're driving and the hotels are like, we're going to all these nice hotels and they're starting to get slightly worse, every hotel. And then we pulled up to one hotel that had like barbed wire on the walls. And I was like, oh God, please don't let this be your hotel, man. And then they read out just my name. And I was like, no. Oh, I heard the bus cheering as it left. They were so ecstatic to not be in the barbed wire hotel. But my wife tried to make up for it, right? She booked us a couple's coconut massage, right? Now, I don't like either of those things, man. I don't like coconuts. You're either milky or hairy. Pick one. You can't be both. It's not natural, in my opinion. I don't like massages either, you know. Like, I don't know if it maybe it's a me thing, maybe it's a male thing in general. I don't know, you know. But I just think like, you mean a little pair of paper pants is all that separates me from making an arse of myself? I don't have that sort of trust in anything, man, you know. But we went in and I was determined to make the most of it. We went in, right, and there was 2 ladies in this little hut that was obviously used to be a toilet because it still had the sign on the wall, and. We went in this little hut, right, and the 2 ladies were there, and they had these little lovely red bowls, right? They greeted us with them, and the lady went, this is coconut milk. And I was like, all right, cheers. And I started downing the milk, right? Well, some of you know that that's a faux pas, I guess, right? Because she pulled it off, and she was like, no. It is for sniffing. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Sniffing milk? What is sniffing milk, man? I've never heard of sniffing milk in my life, you know? Like, the only milk I've ever had from birth till that point was drinking milk, you know? And if I had sniffed it, it was just to find out if I could drink it or not. What, sniffing milk, man? But the 3 of them were like laughing at me, and I realised what had went wrong because then she put my feet in like another bigger bowl and she poured what was left of my sniffing milk onto my toes, right? And she started washing it, and I was like, oh, right, oh, it's foot milk for sniffing, not tummy milk for drinking, right? My bad. And this massage kept going on, you know, and then I had to lie in the bed and put my wee face in a hole of shame, you know, and I was just staring at the floor. Sometimes I'd see her toes coming in and out, you know. Couldn't even close my eyes. It was the least relaxed I've ever been in my life, man. I could hear, the 3 of them were laughing at me the whole time. I could feel the lady on my back going, hee. It was embarrassing, man. And as soon as we were done with the massage part, I was like, I am out here, man, you know. And I zoomed out, man. And then my wife caught up with me and she was like, ha, you drank the sniffing milk, ha. Shut up, man. I didn't even want to be there. I don't like either of those things. And then I realised I left my little flip-flops back in the massage room. And you can't do the rest of your honeymoon without flip-flops, you know. Your toes will get hot. So I crept back in, right, and what I saw in that room still lives with me to this day, you know. I'm feeling it rise up in me just now as I talk about it. I saw those ladies transferring the foot milk washing bowls back into the sniffing bowls. I drank other cunts' feet milk, man! It was 2 in the afternoon, not the first foot milking of the day, I'll tell you that. I spent the rest of that honeymoon looking around at people's toes going, sucked your toes. Probably put my tongue right in between your wee one, right there. God damn it, man, it was disgusting, man. We don't have any kids, right? We've got money. It's crazy, man. Yeah. It rocks, man. You know, we've got nieces and nephews, though. That's the thing, you know. So it's cool having like nieces and nephews. You get to it's like sort of having a kid, but you don't have to care that much, you know. Obviously, I still care. You know what I mean? You know, they're still great. You know, if anyone was to hurt them, I'd be out there. You know, circumventing the law, delivering some vigiluncle justice. You know. My God, man, they are cool, you know what I mean? Like, they just make me feel a wee bit old, you know? They make me feel old. They're so young, man, you know? Like, because it's the internet. Like, their internet and my internet is just entirely different, you know? It's insane. Like, you know, like I look at my nephew, man, and his internet's, like, safe and fun. That wasn't my internet, you know? I'm the generation that was, like, the guinea pig of the internet, you know? They're like, oh, here's the whole world. And we're going to give you on a family computer. And no one's going to monitor you. Just go and experience it, man. And I'd be like a little 14-year-old boy going, oh, boy. Oh, I can't wait to download a music video. Click. And then I would leave for 3 days, right? And I would come back and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch my music video. Click. Oh, it's a man being fucked to death by a horse. Oh, well. I'm sure that'll be fine. That's why my generation's all fucked up, man, you know? We saw the horrors of the world for the shared family computer. We should have seen that stuff, man, you know? We're desensitized to everything but that. Like, his internet is, like, fun and it's safe, man. It's like TikTok, you know? And he's out there and they're having fun, they're dancing and stuff like that. And he comes up to me, he's like, oh, Uncle Ross, do I do a TikTok? Do I do it? And I'm like, no, man. That's your thing. That's not my thing, man. You know, that's your internet. You keep that. She's like, oh, you don't know how to do the dances? You don't know. I'm like, oh, is that funny, is it, you wee idiot? Is that funny to you? Well, guess what? Good luck trying to get a decent-looking email address because we've got them all! Yes, man! We may not have houses and pensions, but we've got all the good email addresses, man. And they're getting nothing, man. I've got 3 email addresses. I'm barely even using one of them. Just parked on good internet real estate, man, you know. Oh, you want to be 420hornyboy@gmail.com? You can't be 420hornyboy at gmail.com. I'm 420hornyboy at gmail.com. It's my business address and I'll never give it up, man. God, man. I feel like not having kids and stuff like that gives us a certain amount of freedom as well. Like we could sort of just like, you know, pack up our bags and just move somewhere, you know. Sometimes I think about like maybe Australia, you know. That's not freezing, you know. But it's such a crazy country, man. Like, you know, Australia feels like it should be illegal. Have you ever been? Go and you'll get that. It just feels like they're like put all them in jail. It feels like I know they were supposed to be back in the day, and that's how it's. I met some crazy people there though. Like I met one of my favourite people I've ever met. It was a lady in Perth, Australia, right? And I was just like wandering about. It was the one of the first couple of days I was there, and she was like, "Oh, excuse me, mate, have you got any money that I could have?" And I was like, "No, sorry. I'm not really from here, you know." Like she was on meth, right? You could tell because she was like moving towards me, but away from me, and side to side at the same time. She was doing a lot of new movements I'd never really seen before. And I was like, "I'm not really from here." And she was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I was like, "Scotland." And she went, "Oh, it takes Scottish money." It's like, fucking good try, man. Good try, meth lady. Good. But they don't even take Scottish money in England. Do you know what I mean? I doubt they're taking them on the other side of the planet, man. God, man. Turns out, you know, I was wrong. She was like a bureau de change. It was crazy, man. Oh, man. Took it all and just fucked off somewhere, scuttled into the night, man. I've had some crazy. One of the things, it was actually Christopher who opened for me is involved in this story, right? There was one of the weirdest experiences. I was out in Australia, right, and me and Christopher and his girlfriend were in a taxi going back to the house we were living in, right? And it was, it's a hot country, right? We're not used to that, You can sort of feel, like if you just you're like, oh, it's too hot, man. Oh, I'm getting so horny, man, I'm just getting needlessly horny over there, man. Like, oh, all the heat, man. Oh, I'm not used to it. And I was in a taxi with two of them, and I could feel their horniness, man, It was like a pheromone in the air. I was like, God damn, man. They are rubbing legs together. And we were all going back to this house, and I just thought, do you know what? I'll get out the taxi before we get to the house, and I'll give you some time alone, A couple of minutes, usually, I guess. Is that how long it should always take? But I jumped out, right, and there was some shops around our wee area, and I thought, I'll just go into the shops, peruse what they've got, and I'll just kill some time, right? There was only 2 shops open. The first was a Subway sandwich shop. Now, I know what I'm doing in there, right? Flatbread, BLT, bang, I'm in and out. That's too quick, you know what I mean? And I thought, well, I'll go into the other shop. The only other shop that was open was, it was an adult shop, right? Now, there's nothing wrong about me going into an adult shop. There's nothing weird about that, right? I'm an adult. That's a shop. We're meant for each other, right? I was like, I'll just go in, just pretend like you know what you're doing, pretend you're meant to be there. And I walked in, and I was like looking at the DVDs, like, oh, Anal Sluts 5. Oh, I preferred Anal Sluts 3. So it was a better film, if we're being honest. How those Anal Sluts managed to save Christmas? What a... warmed the heart. I was just wandering around, just trying to be normal, And then there was a woman there, and she was like, oh, mate, get over here. And I was like, what is it? And she went, have you seen the Vibrating Ass yet? And I was like, no. Like, come and check it out. I'm like, all right, show me some of your Australian culture, man. Let's get into it. And I went over, and she wasn't lying. There was a little box, a little Perspex box in the corner, and it had in it was just an arse, right? Just an arse. And I was like, all right, that's great. Thanks for showing me that. She's like, no, mate, you got to try it. I was like, no, I don't think I do. She's like, don't be a pussy, mate, just with your hands. And I was like, all right, well, all right, now you've called me out on that, and I might be like the only Scottish person she's ever met. I don't know, I don't want her to go away and have this idea that Scottish person are afraid to, we're scared of our bodies, and we're scared that other people are afraid to touch a wee vibrating arse, And I was like, all right, let's do it, man. So I put on one of the wee gloves, and I put my hand in and just, gave it a pat on it. I don't know how to describe it. It was a pat in the head, like, there, good boy, on you go, And it was vibrating, and I was like, thanks for that. She's like, no, mate, you got to get right in there. And I was like, well, I'm already sort of there, So I was like, all right, and I went for the old look, one finger, gentleman, and I was like, that's good. That she's like, no, mate, you got to try both holes. And I was like, what do I do with my sandwich? I don't want to put it down. So I went for a move that I hadn't used in a long time. It was in the locker, but I hadn't used it in a long time. And I went for the old, And as soon as I got my little finger in that other hole, a man walked out of a cupboard, gave her a box, and she fucked off. She didn't even work there! A random lady! This guy's just walked out of a cupboard and seen a Scotsman sweating, fingering the vibrating arse, holding a sandwich in a bag, man. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just trying to let my mates fuck, I don't know. God, man. It is a crazy place, man, you know. Never go. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Me and my wife got a Just Eat delivery like a couple of months back, but the delivery driver was a goth. I couldn't believe it, you know? I got a ring doorbell. I looked at the door and I was like, there's a goth at the door. I didn't know what to do either, you know, like, you just don't expect a goth at the door, you know, like in the olden days, if there was a goth at your door, it was a bad omen, you know. But now it's like, oh, my salt and chili chips are here, you know. It really threw me off, you know. Like, you just, like, you don't expect goths to be at the door, you know. You expect them in, like, graveyards. And that's it, really. That's it. That's all you get, you know. And like, this isn't an anti-goth bit, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying. I was just surprised, you know. I love goths. I love what they're doing, you know. I love their culture and their OnlyFans. I love it all, man. You send me the link, I'll sign up. I swear to God, man. You know, I love what you're doing, man. I love their spooky nature. I'm goth adjacent. Look at me. I love their spooky stuff, you know. I love a funeral. I'm not gonna lie, man. Funeral's one of my favourite events to go to, you know. Like, I went to a funeral this year, which was maybe personally weird for me, right? It was the first funeral I've ever been to where I've actually shagged the person in the box. Yeah, I don't mean there and then. I don't mean there and then. I was like, well, nobody's using it. I may as well get in. No! You filthy people. It was just when we were younger, we had a dalliance, man, you know. It was weird. I think, like, there was a thing that happened as well, you know, like the guy who's doing the funeral king, you know that way you, I don't know what you call that job, but he seems like he was running the show. He was like kind of summing up our life in a way, and you say all these stuff, and then you try and like leave the best for last, don't you? And then he was saying all these things that my friend had done, and then he went, right at the end, he went, and that's when she moved to Ibiza to sell e-cigarettes. Is that it? Is that honestly what you saved for last? That is so disgustingly shite, isn't it? Every single bit of that is worse than the last bit, you know what I mean? If someone said that at my funeral, I would haunt them to death, you know what I mean? God damn it, man. How do you feel about having a king now? That's weird, isn't it? Yeah. It's so weird having a king, isn't it, man? Like a queen. I was used to having a queen, I guess. I never thought about it. I was just born into having a queen, right? But like a king, you know, like I don't think I look like the sort of guy who's got a king. Like, what, am I a medieval peasant boy? No. I had my hands chopped off for stealing grain. No, I haven't. And him, Charlie Sausage Fingers, fuck that guy, man. Nobody trusts him. He's like a substitute teacher, isn't he? Nobody cares. How can you rule a country when you can't even get your hand in a Pringles tub? That's what I want to know, man. Disgusted, man. And what about his brother Andrew, the multi-nonce? He's like a Swiss Army pedo. He's got it all, man. He's got all the attentions, man. He's the driest guy in town. If you cast your minds back to the Queen's funeral, there's a bit of an uproar about Andrew. They said they didn't want Andrew turning up in his military clothing, you know. And obviously, you know, people had some stuff to say about that. But I thought, well, that's the best thing you could do, because the last thing you want is a pedo in camouflage, you know, like... Keep them where you can see them. That's what I always say about them. You know? I think it just shows how far removed, you know, the royal family are for the rest of us regular people in society. For the fact that Charles, he could have chosen anything for his coronation dish, and he went for a quiche. You know? What are you trying to make people hate you? What, a quiche? That is the ultimate end of the being a wank food scale, you know what I mean? Like, quiche, you know. Who do you know that's even serving quiche these days? If I went to someone's house and they served me a quiche, I know for a fact I could steal one of their spoons and they would never even know I've done it. It's a house with too many spoons, man, you know? You couldn't get away with that in my house. We're a 4-spoon house. That's it. We're simple, but there's 2 in the sink, 2 in the drawer. That's it, man. There is actually a 5th spoon that we have, but, you know, we don't use that anymore because one time it touched a spider. So... That's the spider spoon now, and woe betide whoever uses that one. You know, sometimes if someone comes round we don't like that much, I'll give them the spider spoon. There's a wee dig in the ribs, but that's what you get for being rude to the dog 3 years ago, eh? If the dog does a stretch, you say, oh, big stretch. That's the rules, man. It's the rules. Sometimes front stretch, sometimes back stretch as well. You know, oh, front stretch, oh, back stretch. I went to a friend's. My friend got a new fancy place, new fancy kitchen, right? Room for like loads of spoons, right? It had a thing I'd never seen before, right? It was a hook, but it was just for his bananas. And I was like, mate, what is that? He's like, oh, it's a banana hanger. I'm like, right. Keep going. He went, oh, it's for hanging bananas. I'm like, I get that, man, right? I can work backwards with 2 words. I see the bananas hanging, man. What? Like, explain to me why a banana hanger. And then he explained it, right? And I didn't know this, but it turns out bananas have this, like, malignance about them, right? And it means that they fester and ruin everything around them, so you have to, like, hang them to stop that from happening. And I just think that's such a crazy coincidence that the best way of dealing with bananas is also the best way of dealing with fascism. How cool is that, man? The old rope, man. Might solve a few problems. I think that'll make it. It's not a joke, it's just a statement, you know? Not a joke, just a statement of intent about hanging people. So, here's a question, right? I know we're all past the whole COVID thing and all that, you know, and we're all back out licking each other again, you know, that never happened. But here's the thing, like, do any of you people miss lockdown now? Yes, man. You are my people, man. I loved lockdown, man. It was the best year of my life, man. I'll do it again, you know. Let's do the sequel. COVID 2, Too Fast, Too Furious. Let's have it, man. I'll do it again. It was so good, right? Like, me and my wife, we leveled up our lives during lockdown, you know? We managed to move from this cold, mouldy little flat into a quite nice wee house, you know? I mean, sadly, COVID took my gran, but we got the house, so... Rick Walsh caught me boiler. You can't beat that, man. Thanks, Gran. She would have wanted me to be in that house anyway, you know what I mean? Like, oh, my sister and my cousins, they went to university. I went to nightclubs to sell eckies. She would have wanted me to be in there. And I had a great time doing it. God, man, it was just like, I know it was tough for people. I know people had a tough time, right? I don't mean to laugh at it too much. You know, I saw people on the internet going, oh, I feel like I'm trapped. I'm fed up being stuck in my house. I love being stuck in the house, man, because that's where all my stuff is, you know? If you don't like being in the house, get better stuff, that's all. You had to do it, and the government were acting like it was the end of the world. They were going, oh, no, you're going to have to stay in the house. And I was like, oh, no! Oh, no, don't do that to me. For how long? Oh, maybe like 15 months. Oh, no! You mean I'm going to miss my nephew's 8th birthday party? No, man! Damn it! When will this end, man? But wait, what am I going to do for money? That's serious. Well, if you're self-employed like you are, Roscoe, we're going to give you about 80% of what you might not even have earned anyway. No! No! Best fucking year of my life, man! That's why I don't understand these COVID deniers, you know? I mean, maybe I'm not a smart guy, I shouldn't judge, but don't throw me under the bus with you, you know? I was living La Vida Loca. Then they were out in the streets going, COVID doesn't exist. Everyone back to work. And I was like, shut the fuck up, man. Don't be such a grass. Shut up, man. I honestly see these conspiracy theory people. I love them, man. You know, I love arguing with them. I love making fun of them. Oh, it's becoming like a part-time job at this point. I'm putting a lot of hours into it, you know. I was arguing, one of the best ones I had was with a vaccine skeptic guy, and he was going, see, when the government gives you the vaccine, that's them putting microchips in you. And I was like, microchips? No way. I used to love them. They were class. 3 minutes in the microwave, a wee plate of chips or Roscoe, sign me up, man. Sounds good to me, yeah? Oh, man, it's still ongoing as well, man. In the year of our Lord, 2023, you know, still rumbling on, you know? You know, just nobody, I mean, like, the government, they got it. I'm not really a political guy, right? I'm sure you could tell. You know, the government, see, when that was one of the things when they announced that they would all have to put their WhatsApp groups out, you know, and I was like, ha, 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 ha. And then I was like, wait, they can make you do that? See, if the government went, I will do it if everyone else does it, we'd have been like, you know what? Some old people died, let's all move on together. I did know it, I had to like read through a bit and stuff like that. I noticed that like these people in the government are not using GIFs at all, man, you know? Like, why are you not? Like, I use GIFs for everything, you know? Like my wife will be like, what should we do for dinner? I'm like, moving picture of a cat with a sausage. Let's do it, man, you know? I love using GIFs, man, you know? And that's right, I'm saying GIFs, not GIFs. Because it's a G, not a J. I'm sticking my neck out here. Like a giraffe. I've been trying to get healthy, right? That's one of my main. Thank you. That's one of my main things I've been trying to do. Like, basically, I've been, you know, because you can either get healthy one of two ways, right? You can either get healthy mentally or you can get healthy physically. But in Scotland, you can only choose one. Really important not to get ideas above your station here, you know? I've went for the physical, I went for the outer health, right? I tried the mental health. Didn't work, you know? If anything, it just brought me more problems, you know? Like, when I get more in touch with, like, kind of what's happening inside. I had my first panic attack this year, right? Yeah. And you know what? I didn't like it. I'll stay right. I disagreed with this whole thing, you know? You know, I don't know what it just happened, right? I think it happened just because I was like, I could feel myself getting older and like running out of energy, and I just started panicking about it, right? And it's a horrible, like, it's not a good name for it either, like panic attack. Like panic attack, those are two words only designed to be screamed, you know? It doesn't help what's happening when it's happening, you know? Like, oh, you're having a panic attack? That's making it worse, don't tell me! It's one of the only times I wished I was English instead of Scottish, because like they've got like cuter ways of saying things. They'd be like, oh no, you've got a case of the whoopsie bubbles, oh no. Oh, thank God. Oh, it's just the whoopsie bubbles, I can breathe again. Oh, thank God for that. Oh, God, man. I'm just sick of working on my mental health, you know? I'm going back to the old school ways of dealing with mental health, you know? The old ways of men's mental health, you know, where you would just get your emotions out by trying to get the high score in a boxing machine in a kebab shop. That's what it's all about, man. You know, I'm just sick, like, all it's done is cause me problems, you know, like, the way I'm treating my mental health now is like, you know how you're inside bin, right? You know when you go to that and you've got a handful of rubbish and then you look at it and it's just filled to the brim with other rubbish and you go, fuck it, you just push it down, man. just pushing rubbish on top of other rubbish. And you go, well, that'll work for a week, you know, that'll be fine. And then the next time you come back, you're like, yeah. So there's a second bag now. There's a second bag. It's just a plastic carrier bag hanging on a door handle. And it's dripping. It is dripping. It's dripping. But it's easier to just keep loading bags up than deal with it and take the bins out properly, isn't it? You know? And I feel like mental health has been hijacked, you know? I do see it a lot on TikTok, you know what I mean? It's been hijacked by, like, certain types of people, you know? People who are like, I used to tan hussies and now I'm selling tan pills, man, you know? £3 goes to mental health. What do you mean, man? For it or against it? What do you mean, you know what I mean? You're actually giving me mental health issues by having to watch this, man, you know? It's been hijacked and I hate it, man. So I've been starting to work on the outer me, you know? Basically, I'm trying to look a bit less Scottish. That's my main goal, man. Just a tight, like, have you ever been tricked by that, you know? Where you like, go away on holiday, right? And you're looking around and everyone just looks so tanned and good looking. And you're going, oh, well, I must be tanned and good looking as well, you know? And then you get back to the airport and everyone's still tanned and good looking. You're like, oh, I can't wait to get back to Scotland, show everyone the new me who's all tanned and good looking, you know? And then you get to the gate that's just specifically going to Scotland and you see us all in a group and you go, fuck! I forgot! We're a nation of goblins! I forgot what we look like, man! Damn it, man! So I've been trying to work on myself a wee bit, you know. I got my teeth done. That was a big thing, man. Big thing for me. My teeth have always been pretty bad, you know. I smashed them up, you know. Fell on a bit of wooden floor when I was younger. Wooden floor won unanimously. It really did. And I never looked after them, never cared for them, you know. And there was like one time, right, I had like kind of front like caps glued onto my front teeth. And then one time I was fighting, right, and a boy knocked my front half tooth out. And I didn't want my mum to know I'd been fighting. So I just like went home and like glued it back in myself. And then like half an hour later, I realised I'd glued it in the wrong way round. And I had to punch my own tooth back out my mouth, man. It's not good losing 2 fights in a day, man, you know. One of them's to yourself. Yeah, they've always been good, but it means now like I'm finally going to a dentist as an adult, and that's just been so weird, right? Because I always remember them being like old, grumpy men, but now these dentists are like guys the same age as me, right? And it's like a different dynamic. Like, the first time I met my dentist, he called me bro. Is this the Joe Rogan podcast? What are you doing, man? Don't call me bro. I'm giving you £8,500. Don't call me bro, man, you know? That's disgusting, man. But he didn't mean it. He got lost in the sauce when I walked in. He was like, oh, hey, bro. And I was like, ugh. And he was like, you know? And then it was weird, right? There was a weird atmosphere, right? And I can live in a weird atmosphere, you know? But only when I'm the one who's made it weird. That's where I do some of my best work. I've already shown you that through this show, right? Remember the eating ass bit? That's what that was all about, man. I made it weird and I just bathed in the heat of it, you know? But yeah, man, I hatched a plan to take the weirdness back off this guy, right? And I got it. And the next time that man put his fingers in my mouth, I went, daddy. And you know what? It solved everything, man. There was no weirdness in the room after that. And I got a wee discount as well. It was... Sucked his little fingy wingies. It was so good, man. Oh man, the dentist is such a horny place. I went to the dental hygienist for the first time so you go to the dental hygienist for the like drawn in, you know, and there was blood everywhere, man. I could feel it just for like an hour straight. But then see at the end, she leaned down and she went, "You were a very good boy." And I was like, oh my God, man. New kink unlocked, holy fuck. Thank God I've just swallowed 2 pints of my own blood. I've got no chance of getting a hard on now, man. That's... What a service. Oh, the feelings of pleasure but none of the visual shame. That's incredible, man. Damn, but my dentist DMs me, right? And I hope he watches this. My dentist DMs me, right? Which is cool. He DM'd me recently. He was like, oh, hey, Roscoe, how's things going? You know, the teeth are looking great. Could I possibly put your, like, tooth and Invisalign journey up for an award? And I'm like, you're saying my teeth were so bad that it might win you an award? I guess that's what you want if you're paying that money. I was like, you know what? Go for it, man. You know, fill your boots. Put it in for whatever you want. You know, send it to weird fetish websites. I don't care, man. BigNaturalTeeth.com, you know. But... well, not natural anymore, so I was like, do I get like a kind of kickback from it? Do I get anything? He was like, oh no, it's not like that. But if I win, they'll give me a little plaque. I was like, surely that's the last thing you'd want as a dentist, eh? Huh? And then he sent me a picture of his cock. I like getting my wife a gift when I go away. It's nice, isn't it? It's a nice thing to do, you know, to like, you know, buy someone's love when you get back, make them not feel too bad about you leaving, you know. And I was in Australia, right, and I was asking my wife like what she would like, and she sent me. She said it was from a shop called Sephora, you know, right? I know because I'm doing all right, and I went in this shop, right? I was like, what do you want? And she wanted it was like a tub of cream that makes you look younger, right? And it was a big tub, you know. I was like, how young do you want to look, you know? It's a lot of younger cream, you know what I mean? And then, because of the way my brain's wired up, you know, I've got to think this through, right? I've got to take it till I've went too far, if I'm being honest, you know? And I started thinking about it, I was like, well, what would happen if this stuff actually works, you know what I mean? And I take it back to my wife, you know, and she puts it on, she puts all of it on, all of a sudden, my wife's a baby. What happens then? What happens then? You know, is that illegal? Do I go to jail because I've got a mad baby wife? Probably, yeah. I don't think you're allowed to have a baby wife, right? But then I was like, well, what happens then if I get like my mum to like smuggle some of this cream into jail, you know, and then I put it on, all of a sudden, I'm a baby now. Did it let me back out of jail? Because that's two babies in love. That's the most beautiful thing I could ever think of, you know? Like, that's the most, you know, 2023 thing ever. Two babies, not doing anything weird, just in love. It feels like it should be a song. And it is. Two babies in love. You know what it means. It's 2023. You can't be mad about it. Two babies in love. The purest kind of love. It's young love. And no one can say that it's not or doubt it. Two babies in love, looking into each other's eyes with mystery about the world. It's me and my wife, we're listening to your own. With two babies in love, yes, we're two babies in love. We're two babies in love. Two babies in love. You know what it means? It means everything to anyone who respects love. Two babies in love. Do you know what it means? Oh, two babies in love. We're two babies in love. Two babies in love. You know what it means. 2023, you can't be mad about it. Two babies in love, purest kind of love. It's young love, and no one can say that it's not or doubt it. Two babies in love, looking into each other's eyes with mystery about the world. It's me and my wife. We're listening to your own. We're two babies in love. Yes, we are. We're two babies in love. funky. With two babies in line. Two babies in love, you know what it means. It means everything to anyone who respects love. Two babies in love, do you know what it means? Oh, oh, two babies in love. With two babies in love, yeah. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between, thank you so much for being here. I've been Rosco McClelland. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Hello everybody, Billy Connolly here. I've just been enjoying your comedy. Congratulations to Rosco McClelland, the Slug Nudger. Well done. I had a good laugh at your thing about the slugs in the bin.